Everyone, it's Flava, and today we're going to be talking about 5 mistakes that I see from a lot of Orisa players, alright? No matter what rank you are, these can apply, so just take note of that. Also, I am pretty sick, so please forgive me if I sound retarded and do this. It's pretty bad right now. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1, bad pulling. So basically this is pulling the enemy team together for no reason or pulling them behind the shield, right? If you shoot the halt out, you're shooting it out to do what? If you shoot your halt out while you're in a fight and you pull the enemy team together behind their shield or just, pull them together, like, what have you really accomplished? You can't shoot them because they're behind shield, and pulling them together if you don't have something like junk or Farah really is almost completely useless. Especially if they're behind shield, and pulling them behind shield, which is the next one, pulling them behind shield does nothing. Alright, do not use halt unless you're trying to kill someone. Alright, halt is a strong ability. You can pull people around the shield, you can pull people above the shield, you can pull people off the high ground, you can pull people into the air. Like, you can do good things with halt. Just don't pull the enemy team together all the time if you don't have a spam damage weapon. And the next one is comms. Halt works really well with comms, so you need to remember that. If you've got a Doomfist and he wants to rocket punch in, you can say pulling, and coordinate with him. Say, I'm gonna pull and you punch, okay? Pulling, and he'll punch in and you might get a kill. So it's very important to use your comms and communicate with people, especially with your halts. Another big one I see with Orisa players is to be very defensive. They hold the same spot and wait for the enemy to get to them, which is not always the strongest thing. If you're in a double shield, be double shield. You can play aggro, right? Do not be afraid as Orisa. There's only a couple of comps where you don't want to do this, specifically against like Zar. You don't really want to shield forward, but shielding forward can be a great way to approach. You can add a lot more pressure on the enemy team, and especially on payloads. You're taking the fight closer, which means the cart isn't moving if you're taking the fight closer to the cart as far. So generally being way too defensive and constantly backing up, constantly going back. You do not always have to back up, especially against characters like Orisa, Sigma, and Winston Diva. You do not constantly have to run. Alright, against characters like Zar, sometimes it's better to give some space, but generally you don't want to only play defense as Orisa. You gotta be aggro somehow. Another problem Orisa players seem to have is focus fire. They switch from one target to another, switch. Your gun is not very good, okay? It does decent damage after a while, but it needs a second to start, really chunging. So focus one target. If you want to build, and don't be afraid to focus tanks either. Don't, like, sub thing here. Don't be afraid to focus tanks. Tanks are a great way to get your ultimate. Squishies, if they're in a bad position, of course shoot them, but if you have nothing to shoot at, then shoot the shield. And if there's a tank, if you have the choice between shooting a shield and a tank, shoot the tank. If you have a choice between shooting a tank and a squishy, shoot the squishy. It's a priority thing. Just make sure you're not switching from target to target constantly. If somebody's low, finish them off. Don't just switch, commit, kill them. If you have no chance of killing them, then just keep shooting, whoever you're shooting, stuff like that. The last big problem I see from Orisa players is their ultimate, Bongo. Alright, your ult, it's not great, okay? It's not a great thing. So you have a choice as to when you can use this. You can either use it at the start of the fight to really help your chances of winning, or you can use it in the middle. But be careful, because if you choose to use it in the middle, then, well, you might be out of luck, right? Something might have happened. Your support, who knows, maybe you were fighting frontline when your support was dove by Doomfist, and if they'd had the bongo earlier, they might have won. So generally, it's best to bongo just before the fight's about to break out, so you have a very large chance, with all of you being there, very large chance to win that fight. So don't be afraid to use bongo. It's not a game changer. You get it really quick, and it's not very good. So at the start of the fight, if you think you can win it, just bongo. Do not save it. It's not going to win you team fights constantly, but it is a very good equalizer if you're constantly losing. So in summary, don't pull the enemies when it has no value. Don't play too defensive. Make sure to communicate important abilities like your shield cooldown time, your halts, and your movement ideas. Make sure to calm who you're shooting, and don't switch targets constantly. And make sure you use your bongo at the start of a team fight, or when you think or know you can win the fight. Don't use bongo for a lost fight. It's just retarded. Anyway, guys, I've been Flava. I thank you, of course, for watching. I do apologize that I'm sick right now, and I haven't been able to play Overwatch for a few days because I'm pretty sick. It's pretty rough, but that doesn't really change the fact that I've played it for a while. I understand what's going on. I still around 3.7k. I'm trying to make the push to GM, but it's kind of hard when you're sick, so I can't really do that right now. But yeah, I hope of course you enjoyed this video. I've been Flava, and I'll see you all in the next one.